still have my V card, and I am damn proud of it.
This week on Celebrity Talk Show, get ready for part 2. Please welcome Lifetime Network's 5 Guys a Week's very own Sonali Chandra.
I'm just gonna say it. I do experience sexual. He's not a man, he's a coward.
I think it's so important to know what you want.
You just do it. Like the Nike commercial, you just do it.
I really felt like you could see the chemistry through the screen. How do you use your platform and your story to inspire others?
After we wrapped, our mics were taken off, the cameras are turned off. He just turned into a different person. I found out in January. Brittany, I cried my eyes out.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Celebrity Talk Show. I'm your host Brittany Saralynn, and today we have a very special guest in our virtual studio. But before we jump into that, if you're not already subscribed, please take a moment to hit that red button and subscribe to Celebrity Talk Show's YouTube channel. We have great content and giveaways on the way for all of you, and you don't want to miss it. Also, I wanted to share with you all the scripture for the day. Today it comes from 1 John 4:16. And so we know and rely on the love God has for us. God is love. Whoever lives in love lives in God and God in them. Today and every day at Celebrity, we want you all to remember that God has and always will love you. All right, you guys, let's get into today's episode. We're back with Sonali as she details the rest of her journey on Lifetime Network's 5 Guys a Week and what's next for her.
It was really good, so in short, in closing, it was a wonderful experience. I had the time of my life. Ironically, it's, Lifetime Network is the distributor of the show. It was an opportunity of a lifetime. It really was, to try to find love and put my truth out there. Oprah said it best. Speaking your truth is the most powerful thing you can do, and for me in my mid-30s to declare my truth to the world that I still have my V card, it's been very empowering, and I'm glad to just serve as a role model to those other girls out there, even men, who have decided to abstain until they find that right person. And I cracked a joke about this earlier, but I think it's great to practice abstinence and just to wait, because people who do lead promiscuous lifestyles, there's just so many health issues associated with it, and it's not healthy at all. No. So yeah, that was 5 Guys a Week. It was a wonderful experience. I do wish Eric was the one that I ended up with, but I learned his true colors after cameras wrapped. His loss.
Absolutely. Now, being that this experiment only lasts a week, you had to get to know these guys really, really, really fast. And I'm curious to know how difficult that was to have to get to know them so quickly.
I mentioned that our phones were taken away, right?
Yes.
And, so our phones were taken away. There were no TVs in the house. So there no TV, no internet, no music, no nothing. Yeah. The only thing we could do was talk to one another.
Okay.
And so it just seemed like a lot longer than a week. It really did. Because we just had to get to know one another. Like I mentioned earlier, I didn't know anything about the guys before I met them. I didn't know their names, where they lived. I couldn't look them up on social media, judge them beforehand, if you will. Right. I had to get to know them old school. Mm-hmm. And so, you just do it. Like the Nike commercial, you just do it. You just, force yourself to make conversation, learn about each other. Even with Eric, the one guy I kissed, I couldn't believe in retrospect that I had only kissed him after 3 or 4 days. Like, really, that's really not a long time. But, given the circumstances of the special environment I was in, chemistry happened quickly. Yeah. And then also I will say, I to this day, I don't know how to date, right? It's such a foreign concept to me, because dating is a life skill, and I was forbidden from developing that life skill, right? Growing up, thanks to my conservative, well-intentioned parents. And even on the dating show itself, we were mic'd 24/7, and there were cameras all around the house. The producers and the director were watching our every move, so they helped guide me in eliminating the men, because I really didn't know what I was doing.
I can understand you needed help with picking between 5 guys. I mean, that's a lot.
Oh, and another thing, you saw the episode, right? We had a Friday night out scene. My 3 friends, Jay, Jason, and Carrie, they joined the night out event where we learned Bollywood dancing. They helped me vet the guys, and then the next day we had the Saturday brunch scene where my sister and my close friend Pamela, they narrowed down the guys for me as well. And so you can't do it alone. I only have 2 eyes, and I needed my friends and family to help me vet the guys. Absolutely. Oh, and one other thing I want to share. I mentioned there's 20 episodes of the show. I was one of the leading ladies. I was the only South Asian leading
Wow.
lady, and I am so grateful that my Indian culture was showcased positively
Yes.
to audiences. You know, I mentioned the Bollywood dancing. We had the fashion shoot. You know, the wardrobe I wore was reflected Indian style. We had Indian cuisine. You know, and on these reality TV shows, they don't really show the talent eating. You know, like that's just not how TV is made. But I will tell. I'm going to tell audiences we had delicious Indian food on set.
Wow. Okay. I love that.
Because my mentality was whoever I end up with. Like, I know I've said a million times I don't want an Indian guy, but I'm still very Indian at heart. Like, I still know the language, the culture, the food, all that. Like, whoever I ended up with on the show, or even like post show in real life, I want him to understand and respect my Indian culture. And so it was important to me that be showcased on the show.
Absolutely. I love that. I absolutely love that. And representation is so important. So I love that you said that, because other young ladies who are of your same culture need to be able to see, you know, like you said, the positive influence that you have on this culture, and the beautiful thing that it is that you could have preserved yourself for this amount of time. You know what I mean? I absolutely
Thank you. No, look, it hasn't been easy. I already mentioned the emotional, the loneliness, the emotional hardship, right? The loneliness, the sadness, you know, the heartbreak. But like on a more adult level, let me tell you, it hasn't been easy also because, you know, look, I'm 35, I am a woman, I do have needs, and especially lately during the holidays, I'm just gonna say it, I do experience sexual frustration.
Yes, I understand. I get it. Definitely. I mean,
like, you know, but with all that said, you know, like I can't just do it with any guy. I need a ring. I cannot and will not have a one night stand or a casual sex or, you know, all that stuff. I can't. I'm at a point in my life where I'm looking for my soulmate, my one and only.
I absolutely love that, Sonali. That's wonderful. So, speaking of what you're looking for, I know you said you gave up, but I don't want you to give up. But I noticed during the episode, and you mentioned earlier, that you had your very own list. And I really love this because I think it's so important to know what you want. I know in the show you called it your dream man checklist. And I'm sure because of editing, we only got to hear a couple of those things off of the list. But I am so curious to know, what is the rest of that list, Sonali? Please tell everyone what you're looking for when it comes to your dream guy.
My dream man checklist is includes, you know, the guy should be my soulmate. I'm looking for my soulmate, my one and only. He should be a chivalrous gentleman who is handsome, funny, personable, ambitious, health-oriented, and will treat me like a queen. Yes. That's what I'm looking for, in short. You know, he should be my best friend, my confidant, my lover. I already mentioned how, like, one night stands, casual sex, all that stuff will devastate me. Let me tell you, Brittany, divorce would devastate me also.
Absolutely.
I'm 35. We're all gonna go one day. You know, I'm looking for my forever man. Absolutely. Really, that's what it's come down to at this point. I also want to share something a little more sad. 2 months before I filmed 5 Guys a Week, my final grandparent died.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Thank you. My paternal grandmother, she was in her 90s. She had cancer. She was suffering, so she went peacefully. She went to a better place, you know, obviously. And this all happened in India. Here I am in America, you know, living my life, hustling, bustling. I found out in January that she had pancreatic cancer, which is terminal, right? And then she died in March, and then I filmed it, my 5 Guys a Week in May. I found out right before I went into work that she had passed. Brittany, I cried my eyes out.
I bet. Oh my goodness.
You know, I hadn't seen her in over a decade, and I realized I would never see her again. And it also hit me, Brittany, and this sounds silly, but I'm just sharing my feelings. I also realized that day that I was gonna die one day too. Right? Like we all are, right? It's a fact of life.
Absolutely.
And I came to a realization that I don't want to be alone anymore. I'm 35. I don't want to be alone anymore. I'm sick of being ghosted over and over again for being virtuous, you know. I'm looking for the real deal. And I mentioned all this on 5 Guys a Week also, but it just didn't make the final cut. But I'm going to share this again now on your platform. You know, I'm looking for my forever man. And I'm done with games. And so, hey guys out there, You heard my checklist, my dream man checklist. If you fit the bill, contact me. I'm everywhere. Okay.
Absolutely. I truly hope it would make my absolute year if you found the love of your life through our platform. I would absolutely love that. We're going to put all this out there because I am hoping and praying that someone contacts you, because we definitely want all of your contact information. So I absolutely love it. And I am so sorry to hear about your grandmother. Family is so important to me. And I know when I lost my grandfather, that was the first real time that it hit me how real and permanent death is.
Exactly. And I realized that day, like I have a finance degree, right? Business school, Wall Street background, money, material items make people happy in theory, right? Mm-hmm. But the truth is, when we're all going to go one day, and we can't take that stuff with us.
Absolutely.
Right?
None of that stuff. You're so right.
It's more, should be more about like experiences and with that special person. And it took some time to get to this realization, but definitely my grandmother's death earlier this year hit that home for me.
I definitely understand. Well, definitely you have our condolences, and we will be praying for you in that area.
Thank you.
For sure. Yes, absolutely. I'm sending it right back to you. So by the end of each episode of 5 Guys a Week, every woman is left with their top pick. And I don't want to give away the name. I know you've already mentioned, spoiler alert, and you've already mentioned his name, but I'm not going to say his name. I'm just going to say the man that you picked for those who haven't seen it.
No, he's not a man. He's a coward.
Oh, a coward. Okay, I'm sorry. You chose, someone at the end of this process. But let me just say that I was right about who I felt your top 2 would be, and I was right about your number 1 pick. I really felt like you could see the chemistry through the screen. But one thing the show does not reveal to us is how things are going after the fact. Now, I know you've already mentioned that the two of you are not still together, but what happened? What happened after the show wrapped?
After we wrapped, our mics were taken off, the cameras are turned off. He just turned into a different person. No. On camera, he said all these sweet, romantic things. He said there's nothing wrong with being a virgin. He was one day. At one point, he's not anymore. Yes. He had dated virgins before. He's like, it's a good thing. Don't worry about it. He said all those things on camera, but then off camera, he was just a completely different person. It looked like he was acting the entire time while we were filming. Even though his day job is in finance, and he also does screenwriting on the side. But he was just a different person. He didn't want to stay in touch. We did exchange numbers because I'm the one who brought it up. It wasn't like, oh, hey girl, let's stay in touch. Let's meet for lunch tomorrow or something. Because we wrapped filming at midnight, so it had been a long couple of days, right? We all needed to go. They all needed to go rest, and we all needed to catch up on sleep because we were running on adrenaline for a week, right? Right. But and he didn't even, in retrospect, he didn't ask for my number. I was like, hey dude, are we gonna exchange numbers and keep in touch? I was like, yeah, of course. He said all that, but talk is cheap. Actions speak louder than words. And then he was like, oh, you should continue dating. I'm like, dude, I just picked you. Right. On a dating show. Why the hell are you gonna suggest that I continue dating and all that? Oh, the next day, Brittany, the next day was Mother's Day. I'm the one who that's another thing. I had asked if we could meet for lunch the next day. He said he couldn't because he was going to see his parents for Mother's Day. Brittany, marriage came up during filming. They cut it out of the final edit, but let me tell you, it came up, okay? I'm 35, he's a year younger than me, okay? Marriage came up. He tells me the next day he couldn't meet for lunch because it was Mother's Day, he was going to go see his parents. Brittany, if he was serious, he would have invited me to lunch. Just one red flag after another. It really was. I was emotionally hung up on him for several weeks after filming. I just kept having hope. Like I said, he's the only guy I kissed, and he's the guy I picked, and I catch feelings very quickly. A kiss is very personal and intimate for me, and then to kiss a guy on camera. I had never done that before. Right. But I would say so we wrapped filming at Mother's Day weekend. It took a long time for me to just move on from him. When the show started streaming, this fall. I thought maybe he would contact me. We do have each other's numbers because we did exchange numbers. We were texting and video chatting for a bit. I think he felt he had to do that, but really, he stopped pursuing me. He ghosted me too. Long story short,
Wow.
But when the show started streaming, I thought perhaps maybe he would contact me again, say something like, "Hey, girl, we look good together on camera" or something. Crickets.
Nothing. Oh my goodness.
Nothing. And I did not contact him either. I'm over him now. It's been several months.
That is so disappointing, but I truly support you in this journey, Sonali, and just know if it wasn't him, I'm sure there's someone else. I'm rooting for you, Sonali. I think you're going to come back in like a year or so and you're going to be like, Brittany, I'm married. I'm married. It happened. So
Brittany, listen, I'm not desperate for a husband.
Right.
I'm not desperate for marriage. However, I am looking for eternal companionship with my one and only, and I do need a ring for that first time. So I guess I am looking for marriage.
But that's the best place to be in, though, when you're not desperate and you're letting it happen naturally. Every woman at some point desires to find the love of their lives. I can't imagine anybody who doesn't. But as long as you're letting it happen naturally and you're going with the natural flow of life, you're not forcing it, you're not just like anybody, as long as you're not doing that, I know it's going to happen for you. Sure.
Exactly. And I look up to Priyanka Chopra so much.
Yeah.
I'm 35. She's just a few years older than me. I grew up watching her in Bollywood movies, and look at her now.
Yes.
Nick Jonas and her, like, how did that happen?
Exactly. Exactly.
They're from opposite sides of the world.
Yes.
He's a decade younger than her.
Yes. But they are a beautiful couple. I mean, they are just.
They've been married 4 years. They have a daughter, through surrogacy. Like, that's what I want.
Yeah.
I want that passion, that everlasting love, and I see how Nick Jonas treats her like a queen.
Yeah.
He respects her. He put her up on a pedestal. I need a man to do that for me.
Yes. And hopefully that man is watching. So CeleBritty is largely based in inspiration, and I love to inspire others, and I read that you love to do the same. When I was maintaining my virginity, I loved to motivate and encourage other young ladies to do the same, and still I really like to use my story to inspire ladies who haven't taken that marriage step to wait until they have that special moment with their husbands. How do you use your platform and your story to inspire others? And what would you say to other young ladies who are watching today and wanting to follow a similar path?
Just own your truth.
Yes.
Be confident in who you are. Don't chase people. Don't be desperate. Just attract. Be strong. There's nothing wrong with you, and it's just own your truth. That's all I can say. Just be you. Be you.
Yeah. That is such great advice, Sonali. What you said is key. There is nothing wrong with you. There is such a beauty in taking the right steps to preserve yourself. There's nothing wrong with a woman taking the path that you have taken, with anyone taking the path that I have taken. There is beauty in preserving yourself.
And Brittany,
Yes.
what I'm about to say might be considered controversial, but I'm just going to say it. I think for women, sex is very emotional, but for men, it's just, it's not, right?
You're right. You're right. We're wired differently, Sonali. That men are, they can have sex and not think much of it, but women, I do truly feel like, at least, and that's how I felt. It was like, this is such an extreme emotional connection. There is no way on earth I could just lay down with anybody or somebody, or just somebody I kind of dated for a little while and it didn't work. No, like, I need to know that I gave myself to my husband, and that's fully how I felt. So I know exactly what you're talking about.
I need to know he's going to be there for me the next morning for eternity.
Yes, that this is a commitment. Not just we lay down and that was it. So.
Right. And something, ever since I became a public figure and all this press has been released about me, especially with the show, I've had a lot of supporters.
Yes.
I've also had a lot of haters.
Wow.
And I've been told that there's apparently a saying, don't buy a car without test driving it. Meaning, always, you should try a woman out before, committing to her. That's that whole concept. I don't believe in that at all. All you guys out there who, don't worry, I'm going to be fantastic in bed.
All right, Sonali. Well, I have thoroughly enjoyed this interview. I thank you so very much for sitting down with us and joining us today. Please tell everyone what's next for you and where they can go to watch the show.
So, I'm going to answer your second question first.
Okay.
I am omnipotent and omnipresent. Just look up my name, Google me. I'm out there. SONALICHANDRA. I have my own website. I'm on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok. You name it, I'm there.
Yes.
And as for what's next to me, I am working on a comedy special. Okay. My dream is to be on Netflix or Hulu or Paramount or Apple Discovery Plus. Have my own 1 hour special. Talk about me still being a virgin, or who knows whenever that special happens. Hey, I may not be a virgin anymore. Maybe I'll have that ring. Time will tell. So anyway, I'm working on a comedy special. I'm working on my own memoir.
Wow.
I want to inspire audiences with my story, with my journey, and also entertain them, with my personality. So a comedy special. I'm working on my own memoir, and a few Hollywood movie producers have approached me from having discovered me from 5 Guys a Week, and they want to make my life into a feature film. So that's a work in progress.
My goodness, that's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, it's exciting. It's absolutely it's wonderful. A lot of things in the works. This life is a journey. Even 5 Guys a Week, we filmed in May 2022, but I applied in July 2021, and then it didn't start streaming till fall of 2022. So for over a year, I had to wait until I saw the footage, and it taught me patience. There's no such thing as overnight success. In fact, I was applying for dating shows for 2.5 years. Since January 2019. Okay. So let me backtrack. January 2019 to July 2021.
Wow.
2.5 years of applying to dating shows, finally being picked for one, and then COVID postponed filming twice. Okay, wow. Wonderful COVID. Yeah. It postponed it twice, and then months after I was finally able to see the footage. It's a journey, and it's taught me patience. And just to take it one day at a time, whether it's personally or professionally, just follow your passion, be you, and just let things, do your best, put your best self out there, but then whatever happens, because at some point you have to understand there's a lot of things outside of your control, and you just have to relax and just enjoy the journey.
Absolutely. Enjoy the journey. Everyone, we hope you all enjoy the journey. Absolutely. Well, we have truly enjoyed watching your journey, Sonali, and I hope that all of you guys go and check out 5 Guys a Week as soon as possible, Sonali's episode in particular, so you can watch
the link is on my Instagram bio.
Yes.
So you do have to. The link is locked. It's no longer unlocked, meaning you have to have a cable provider in order to log in. But it's also streaming on and syndicated on Amazon. Let me shameless plug. You don't have to have. You don't have to. Actually let me backtrack. You don't have to have cable. You can just have an Amazon account, Amazon Prime, and if you just look up 5 Guys a Week, Lifetime Network, I'm episode number 14, and I think it's like $2 or something. Don't quote me there, but yeah, it's let me tell you, it's very entertaining. You haven't seen anything like it before. I'm the only South Asian leading lady, and yes, spoiler alert, the guy and I, Eric, he can rot in hell. We're not together, but even besides that, it's a really fun episode. I'm very pleased with how it turned out.
Absolutely, I love it. So you guys make sure you check that out. We know you all have Amazon. I'm ordering from Amazon like every day. So everybody has Amazon, in my opinion. Either Amazon or streaming on Lifetime. I was actually able to stream it on Lifetime as well, pull it up on my TV, everything. So I hope that you all, check it out. Thank you so very much again for joining us today, Sonali. We wish you all of the best.
Thank you, Brittany, for having me. This was so much fun. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We thank you all so very much as well for joining us for this episode of Celebrity, and we'll see you all next time. Make sure you're subscribed and that your post notifications are on.